So the Imperial College of London is reporting dinosaur dooming asteroid struck Earth at the quote deadliest possible angle. Now, this is a very fascinating story here, guys. At the bottom, it says new simulations from Imperial College London have revealed the asteroid that doomed the dinosaurs struck Earth at the deadliest possible angle. The simulations show that the asteroid hit Earth at an angle of about 60 degrees, which maximized the amount of climate changing gases thrust into the upper atmosphere. Such a strike likely unleashed billions of tons of sulfur, blocking the sun and triggering the nuclear winter that killed the dinosaurs and 75% of life on Earth 66 million years ago. Drawn from a combination of 3D numerical impact simulations and geophysical data from the site of the impact, the new models are the first ever fully 3D simulations to reproduce the whole event, from the initial impact to the moment the final crater, now known as Chicxulub, was formed. Lead researcher Professor Gareth Collins of Imperial's Department of Earth Science and Engineering said, quote, for the dinosaurs, the worst case scenario is exactly what happened. The asteroid strike unleashed an incredible amount of climate changing gases into the atmosphere, triggering a chain of events that led to the extinction of the dinosaurs. This was likely worsened by the fact that it struck at one of the deadliest possible angles. Our simulations provide compelling evidence that the asteroid struck at a steep angle, perhaps 60 degrees above the horizon, and approached its target from the northeast. We know that this was among the worst case scenarios for the lethality on impact, because it put more hazardous debris into the upper atmosphere and scattered it everywhere, the very thing that led to a nuclear winter. The simulations, which used a 17-kilometer diameter asteroid with a density of 2,630 kilograms cubed and a speed of 12 kilometers per second, were performed on the Science and Technology Facilities Council, STFC in parentheses, DIRAC High Performance Computing Facility. So here's a little map of it here, the crater impact. The upper layers of the Earth around the Chicxulub crater in present-day Mexico contain high amounts of water as well as porous carbonate and evaporite rocks. When heated and disturbed by the impact, these rocks would have decomposed, flinging vast amounts of carbon dioxide, sulfur, and water vapor into the atmosphere. The sulfur would have been particularly hazardous as it rapidly forms aerosols, tiny particles that would have blocked the sun's rays, halting photosynthesis in plants and rapidly cooling the climate. This eventually contributed to the mass extinction event that killed 75% of life on Earth. So here is a picture of the crater. The team of researchers from Imperial, the University of Freiburg, and the University of Texas at Austin examined the shape and subsurface structure of the crater using geophysical data to feed into the simulations that helped diagnose the impact angle and direction. Their analysis was also informed by recent results from drilling into the 200-kilometer wide crater, which brought up rocks containing evidence of the extreme forces generated by the impact. Pivotal to diagnosing the angle and direction of impact was the relationship between the center of the crater, the center of the peak ring, a ring of mountains made of heavily fractured rock inside the crater rim, and the center of dense uplifted mantle rocks some 30 kilometers beneath the crater. It's insane. So here is a diagram of the crater. The simulations reconstructed the crater formation in unprecedented detail and gives us more clues as to how the largest craters on Earth are formed. Previously, fully 3D simulations of the Chicxulub impact have covered only the early stages of impact, which include the production of a deep bowl-shaped hole in the crust known as the transient layer, or the transient crater, and the expulsion of rocks, water, and sediment into the atmosphere. Here is the first image, second, third, and fourth. Co-author Dr. Aurorial Rai of the University of Freiburg said, despite being buried beneath nearly a kilometer of sedimentary rocks, it is remarkable that geophysical data reveals so much about the crater structure, enough to describe the direction and angle of the impact. The researchers say that while the study has given us important insights into the dinosaur dooming impact, it also helps us understand how large craters on other planets form. So credit to Chase Stone for this beautiful picture, but look at that. Incredible. Now, I didn't know much about the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, admittedly. I just knew that, that was the leading theory. But this is very telling because to create an event that kills 75% of life on Earth, that's such a huge mass extinction, this would have had to be deadly. And so getting these results and these kind of numbers and data from this analysis and from this research is really telling. And that's one of the things I love about science is you can kind of theorize and hypothesize what's going to happen. The fact that it hit at the most deadly angle is remarkable, not surprising, and just one of the many beautiful things about science. Luckily now as I guess, who is it? Richard Dawkins and Daniel Dennett, took me a second, in a video I'll link in the description, they were kind of, they were being philosophical about science, and they were saying, it's crazy that now the Earth essentially has its own immune system, which is us. And so if an asteroid like this were coming towards us, we could try something to veer it off course. Fantastic. I love science so much, and I'm trying to cover more science stories, guys. There's just a lot going on with politics right now. It's a very historic time for politics, but thank you guys so much for watching the video. And I'm not going to ask you guys to subscribe, like, or anything, but it definitely helps, especially being suppressed by YouTube. They're elevating the voices of mainstream media currently, and it makes it really tough for people like me who devote a lot of time to this kind of thing. So any support is much appreciated. Either way, thank you so much for watching the video.